Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a video about how I invest over $14,000 per month. There is going to be useful information for you to hear this whole story. Please like and comment below. If you feel comfortable, please share. How much are you investing today, and what is your goal? This is a story of how I went from debt in my early 20s to now investing over $170,000 a year in the markets. It's been an amazing journey. However, now that I'm in my 30s, in retrospect, I should have taken even more risk in my 20s and invested even more earlier. If only I had known the impact of decreasing expenses sooner, and the power of investing. And I had been focused on financial independence. You are at an advantage if you are learning this sooner in life. By taking more calculated risk at a younger age, this will help your chances if you want to become a millionaire at a relatively young age. In this story we will talk about the types of accounts and how I invest the $14,000 per month. As a young adult, I wasn't on the right path with my spending versus investing, but I eventually got on the right path. I think growing up in a middle-class household made me stronger, and able to get back on the right path. As I grew up, my parents were not rich and were not poor. We were always taught to work hard and save. We didn't drive expensive cars, or have the most expensive clothes. But we were taught great values, and a mindset for hard work and education. My dad would pay us allowances and to do chores around the house, like leaf raking, snow shoveling, and weed pulling. These were some common types of chores. I was always curious about wealthier friends' families. Many of these kids didn't have to do these chores. This was eye-opening for both my sister and me. This type of childhood also set ambition and drive. When I look back on my childhood, it was a great foundation for where I am today. My parents were disciplined, hard-working, and focused on a better life for my family. Similar to how I am now, with a 2.0 version. It worked for them, and I am now on a strong path for my family. But again, to put my investing in perspective. So now I am investing more money each year than my family made in an average year growing up. I know you're thinking, what about inflation? That's not apples to apples. When I put that in perspective to a more recent time, and think back, $14,000 a month is 2 times what both my wife and I made each year coming out of college. And that's gross, before taxes. And now I put that amount into the markets to invest regularly. We are in a strong spot and made some tough choices and decisions throughout the journey. An example was my wife continuing to work while the kids were young and paying for daycare. Another example was as the kids moved from paid daycare to kindergarten, which is included in my taxes. We made the decision to take that extra money and budget for investing, not spending on enhanced lifestyle. By subscribing to the channel and sharing this video, you can avoid some of the mistakes I've made and be in a better spot in your 30s. Hopefully this story helps. I believe in starting slowly, putting more and more into investments each year. Like I said in other videos, I started with just a 401k, but I was maxing it out each year. Each time I received an increase in salary or bonus, a large portion of the money was allocated to investments. While our story isn't exactly perfect, we are striving to live on one paycheck and invest the other. So $14,000 is just the pre- and post-tax investments that we invest in the markets. This doesn't include any surplus from my rental property business. This surplus we reinvest into the business, and/or invest while saving for future properties. $14,000 per month is a straight comparison to what a 2-income family and normal W-2 earners would make in a year. This also doesn't include dividends reinvested into the portfolio. I am still working on a video on dividend reinvestments, but it is over $2,000 per month in reinvested dividends in addition. If I add both of these up, I'm putting over $200,000 a year into the market each year. I know you're interested to hear more, so let's get after it. The way I invest this money is with a few common types of accounts, and some less common accounts. This is a good way to benchmark your investments and see the power of setting a goal and paying yourself first. Also, I am a big fan of investing before the tax man takes his cut out of your check. Some of the accounts I use are a 401k, health savings account, employee stock purchase plan, an IRA, robo-advisor brokerage account, and then 2 company-provided benefits, including options and restricted stock awards. Let's go into these in more detail. Most of the investments I make are made into low-cost index funds. The strategy is to have the money split by sector, region, and investment class so that I am pretty well balanced and diversified. I support John Bogle's strategy. For those of you who don't know the reference, John Bogle was the founder of Vanguard. He wrote a book called The Little Book of Common Sense Investing. This was a great book for understanding index funds. My main takeaway from this book was trying to beat the market isn't something I have to do. I only need the market return, and the best way to do this is using low-cost index funds. If I own low-cost funds, covering the entire market, I will consistently get a return and should be happy with the after-costs return. So that is my basic strategy for investing. However, you'll notice I mentioned 2 other accounts. The last 2 are my company-specific stock and options. Suffice it to say, this is my single largest stock exposure. But let's dive into the common accounts. First is my 401k. I max this account out each year, contributing $889 per paycheck. I know if you do the math for 26 pay periods, you're scratching your head. The maximum amount is now $19,500 a year for 2021 and will likely go up by $500 every 2 to 3 years. This amount is higher than the cap. But my company also offers something called a SERP. This is a set of benefit that is a form of deferred compensation plan. It is not a qualified 401k for the money above the $19,500 tax cap. My wife is not maxing out her 401k today, but will be considering maxing out going forward. As of today, she is only contributing $7,000 a year. But between us that is roughly $2,500 a month for 401k contributions. As you'd imagine, if I am looking to retire early, having all of our money in 401k accounts with the withdrawal penalties for accessing it early isn't a good situation. I hate fees, penalties, and any other similar costs. My wife's company doesn't offering a matching contribution, but mine offers up to 9% match, which is split between a profit share component and straight match. I am not including the matching contribution in my $14,000. Second, deferred compensation plan. My company also offers the ability to participate in a deferred compensation plan. Different from the SERP but similar in nature. I am able to defer a portion of my compensation and put it into an investment account. So I contribute $370 per check to this plan, which is roughly $740 per month. This is roughly $9,600 per year. Third, employee stock purchase plan. An employee stock purchase plan is a company-run program, in which participating employees can purchase company stock, at a discounted price through payroll deductions. At the purchase date, the company uses my accumulated funds to purchase stock at the discounted price. This is the benefit of staying employed at a big company. I get the opportunity for a 15% discount to buy my company stock as an employee. I contribute $370 per check to this program, roughly $740 per month. This is also roughly $9,600 per year. Fourth, health savings account. A HSA is a type of savings account that lets you set aside money on a pre-tax basis to pay for qualified medical expenses. You may contribute to an HSA only if you have a high deductible plan. Contributions to HSAs generally aren't subject to federal income tax, and the earnings in the account grow tax-free. Unspent money and HSAs roll over at the end of the year, so it's available for future health expenses. The 2020 max was $3,550 for an individual and $7,100 for a family. I contribute $175 per paycheck, which is roughly $4,500 per year, and my employer gives another $1,000 per year. So before taxes, this is roughly $55,000 a year in investments that I contribute before I even get my check deposited. Then we go to after-tax contributions. I max out 2 IRA accounts in index funds and contribute $20,000 to a taxable Wealthfront account. Wealthfront is an online robo-advisor. A robo-advisor is a digital platform that provides automated, algorithm-driven financial planning services with little to no human supervision. This tool optimizes passive indexing strategies and rebalancing for me. Some of the benefits include easy setup, portfolio management, and low fees. And finally, at the end of the year, my less common accounts. I earn additional stock and options from my company. These are roughly another $100,000 per year. This number can vary plus or minus depending on the year. As you can see, it's tough to retire early with such a lucrative benefit. This is all before investing any bonus payments and cash flow from my rental properties. This is my investing that is done each month without much effort. My bonus payments have historically went to pay off any debts, house repairs or maintenance, and/or necessities. The remainder I keep in a liquid savings account for future acquisitions of multifamily properties. I think I can do better in a couple ways, especially being more efficient with our pre-tax accounts, like maxing out my wife's 401k and maxing out my HSA, as examples. However, my concern with maxing out these accounts is a good problem to have. As a growing real estate investor, aspiring to retire early, I don't want my money tied up in 401k and other accounts, especially if we have to wait until retirement age to access it. I do like bringing down taxable income, but the trade-off is, if I decide to retire in the next few years, then the income from my rental business will be my only income. I know many people are asking, how are you able to invest so much? Or thinking, I don't even make $100,000 a year. I can't invest that much. Well, part of the answer is starting point, and the other is mindset. When I was starting out, I maxed out my 401k every year, even with a low salary. This is a great way to start. Then I increased my investing and savings rate slowly each year, with less spending. Starting from a saving and investing mindset is much easier. Since I never was accustomed to spending that money from the start, I didn't miss it. Then as I got older and started making more money, I increased my investment allocation. By not significantly increasing my standard of living with raises and promotions, I was able to save more. I recognize I am making a good base salary, bonuses, stock and other benefits. Not everyone has that type of compensation structure, but please note, we still live a modest lifestyle with a delayed gratification mindset. This is a key component to investing more and more each month. A modest house. No flashy cars. Low expenses. Low frivolous spending. And a disciplined approach and commitment to financial freedom. I recognize not everybody has equal opportunity. For example, people's chances of becoming a millionaire are different by race, region, skill set, and starting point. So I am incredibly grateful for everything I have achieved. I encourage viewers to also stay humble and hungry. But regardless of your background, start your financial freedom journey as early as possible. To become a millionaire by your 30s also requires a ton of luck. It's not always survival of the fittest. If you start believing all great wealth is mostly due to hard work and skill, you decrease your chances of becoming a millionaire. The reason is because you may start taking your opportunities for granted. You also start getting arrogant. Again, mindset is key. The earlier you commit to investing as much as possible, the easier it is to get to this level of investing. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful to see how I invest over $14,000 per month. The types of accounts. And more importantly, if you are just starting, the power of habit and setting a goal. When I started, it was max out 401k. Then I set a new target. Met that target. Then a new target. Thanks for watching.